up, everybody? I'm Alex Warren, and welcome to Locked In, the show where we investigate the truth behind the clickbait. Once my guest steps into the studio, we set the timer to 60 minutes, lock the door, and throw away the key. The only way out is when the timer hits 0. On this episode, we're locking in the good boys. This is Todd, and this is Brett.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hey, Brett.
I love this. You guys, are you nervous?
I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, I think my heart rate just shot up.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm nervous as
Oh my
fuck.
God.
I feel like we're on fucking Hot Wings
Really?
without the wings.
Without any of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you guys are wearing the same sweatshirts.
Yeah.
I was wondering
Yeah, how'd
about
that
that.
happen?
Wait, so this is Todd's brand, Gothic Mochas.
Oh, I love it.
And we were shooting a podcast yesterday, and right before we shot, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to wear.
Yeah.
And I almost wore a different like Gothic Mocha hoodie. And for some reason, I was like, today's not the day. I'm not going to wear it. And Todd gets there. He's wearing the same hoodie that I was going to wear.
Oh,
I
that's
was like,
amazing.
thank God I
I want
didn't
one.
wear it. So today I texted him as I was putting this on. I was like, just so you know, I'm wearing the Gothic Mocha turtleneck, meaning like don't wear it.
Right.
He goes, perfect. I will too.
It's the best thing ever.
Right?
I love it.
Get a match.
I was like, all right.
I want one. Can I have one?
Yeah, of course.
If you ever do a
You can
PR
have this one if you want one.
I'll take it off.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So the way I do this is I only do one guest per time. So you guys are each gonna have 30 minutes, and I'm gonna pretty much do whatever the fuck I want. So in about actually, Calvin, come in. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Todd out, and we will go with Brett.
Me
to start this
first?
30
Oh,
minutes.
shit.
If you're wondering about the costume,
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Is that Farva?
I don't know what it is.
Wait, dude, I'm so nervous.
Reno 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reno 9/11. Great
I don't
year.
know what that is.
Great freaking
Have you seen, what's the other one with Farva? Fuck.
I don't know.
Oh my God, this guy is
crazy.
Two hot babes going that way, and then it's just me and Brett. You're the first 30
shit.
minutes everyone's watching.
I'm so nervous.
I know. I thought when you guys asked me to be on your podcast, I was like, damn, they must be running out of people.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
We were stoked.
No, I don't know. It's something with me that I'm kind of just like, I have a lot more famous friends than me. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, damn, who said no for them to get to me?
No, it wasn't like that at all. Because I remember when, because I think it was the Hoobie guys introduced us.
Yeah.
I was like, do you think you'd really want to come on our podcast?
Dude,
Dude, we all hate ourselves so much, don't we?
I know.
Because for us to think that about each other, they're like the psychology of what's going on in our heads when that moment's going on, like,
We need therapy.
yeah, well,
That's
here
what
we
need.
are.
So you're Brett. This
I'm
is Brett. You guys have the Good Boys podcast, but you actually have a lot of cool things about you that you just don't show on the internet. You're
Yes.
you make music, which
I'm
is
an A&R, yeah.
well, you've made music before.
You know what's funny is I'm horribly talented. I'm like so untalented at music.
Really?
I can't sing. I'm tone deaf, but I have really good taste.
See, when we were talking after the podcast that I did with obviously you guys, I got the impression that you were just very like good at what you do. You're very well spoken about it.
Thank you.
But there's absolutely nothing on the fucking internet about you.
Yeah.
I have a dossier before every podcast, and every single time I do this, it's kind of I know everything about someone.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about you, and I fucking hate that.
Really?
Tell me about you.
Oh man. Well, what I will say is I kind of like it that way.
I know.
I don't know. There's something like, not to say I'm intentionally mysterious,
Sure.
but there's something about having your privacy that's like really comforting.
Yeah.
But it's really like, it's a paradoxal. I don't know the right word, but
I understand.
catch-22 in a sense, because like a lot of my friends are very public on the internet. I'm in a friend group that has one of the biggest magnifying glasses of any friend group on the internet, and I'm someone who nobody knows within that friend group. And if anything,
That's kind of cool though.
yeah, I find that interesting and fascinating. And people are like, how did you get into that friend group? And if you're in that friend group, how come you don't have this, a following?
Massive following.
That's not something I ever wanted.
Yeah.
Right. This is not something I seek out or anything like that. And I remember when I first started becoming friends with this whole group, like David and Natalie and
Yeah.
obviously Todd, Zane, Matt. There would be moments where we would be like at Saddle Ranch and the camera would turn on me and I would go like this.
Yeah. No.
And I'm good. I'm good. I would get so nervous. My mind would go blank.
Right.
And I had this preconceived, I'd never been on camera before that. So then that anxiety that gave me made me think that I couldn't be on any type of camera. And it was when Todd and I started like streaming on Twitch together just for fun, like for shits and giggles, that I realized I'm like, oh, this is a platform where I can just kind of be myself, talk about things, control my
Sure.
own rhetoric, just have a voice and say things that I want to say, like unedited
Yeah.
for hours. And that kind of led into the podcast where it's like, okay, we have this good, this good dynamic. We kind of bring the best out of each other and we can have these like longer form conversations. And it's not just like the camera's on you for 2 seconds. And if you don't say the funniest thing in the room, it's not going to make it into a vlog. And that's never something I wanted either. Like,
Right.
So
There's
like,
a
I
lot
kinda-
to unpack there.
Yeah,
There's
like
a
that.
ton. First of all, I think the most important thing is kind of like, you seem like the type of guy who wants to, do what you love, and if following follows, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It seems to be the way that you're explaining that is you kind of just don't want to be someone's friend. You kind of want to be Brett, and you want to be famous for something you do, or you don't care about the fame, but if it happens, it happens.
Dude, I will say this, and it's a hard thing to explain, but I've never closed my eyes and seen myself being famous. Like I can't close my eyes and see myself like someone writing about me in People magazine. But I have always wanted to leave a legacy, and I think a lot of like entrepreneurs can relate to that, where it's like, I remember, so I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but when I was 14, I went viral on Facebook.
No, we didn't talk about this.
It's crazy. So I was one of the first people to ever use Facebook to raise awareness for a cause, like a charity.
Oh, shit.
And my grandmother had Parkinson's disease. Without going into too many details, this was in 2007, so Facebook was in its early days. I started a group on Facebook, and I said, for every person that joins this group, I'll donate 17 cents to Parkinson's. And from there, I remember it was like, went from like 1,000 people joined. I invited like 200 friends and said, everyone invite some friends. Yeah. And like 5,000 people joined. It was on the local news. Kept getting picked up. And before I knew it, I remember one day I woke up and there was like 80,000 people in the group. And
Jesus
this
Christ.
was over like a few months. I was 14 years old. I had pledged 17 cents per person. And in my mind, like I had to do it. And $10,000 is a lot of money. And I panicked and I made the group private. I was like, no more people can join. But that set me off on this whole journey towards entrepreneurship. But the feeling that I got over the next year as I, did bake sales and then, got a bunch of people in my community involved. I did a walk for Parkinson's. I did a bunch of events to raise the money, which actually ended in a benefit concert, which is how I got into booking concerts and into the music business. Like the fulfillment that I got from leaving that kind of legacy and knowing that the impact I made on others, like, it scratched that entrepreneurial itch that I had from a very young age, and I was blessed to find that passion. That kind of set me off on this journey where it's like it was never about fame or notoriety. It was always about like legacy, and that's what led me down the path of music, working with artists, and that's why I love working with songwriters and producers because they're the lifeblood of the music business. Mm-hmm. And if you kind of fast forward it, I think it's a very similar type of mentality of like, you get to work on songs that reach billions of people and be part of the creation. And there's some sort of legacy that's left with every song you create. And I think that's really beautiful.
You have it all thought out. It's kind of cool. I've done 10 podcasts now, and you're kind of just like, I have this went through this. I'm like, what am I here for? I love it. No, it's truly, it's very cool to see that you kind of have this like idea of where you want it to be and how it's happened, and you understand the steps it took to get there. For me, it's like, what made you like, how did you get to A&R? And like, why do you do it? And was that the goal? Or was the goal to do music and it was just something you realized you liked more? Or is there still a goal to do music?
I was booking concerts when I was 15.
Yeah.
So basically, after that first benefit concert, I think I invested $100 into it, and it made $1,000. And I was at that point 15, and I was like, damn, this is pretty cool. And I will say that feeling that I got from standing on stage, there's hundreds of people in the crowd, the curtains come up, the band starts playing, and it felt like it was like a rush. It was like a drug rush I'd never gotten, and you're chasing that feeling ever since.
Right.
And from there, I just started booking more and more concerts throughout high school. And by the time I was 18, I got really good using like MySpace, Hype Machine, all these different blogs at finding artists long before they had ever reached like the success that people, where they were reaching the masses.
Sure.
So I'd book them really early, and I'd reach out to their agents and I'd book them. And I got really good at discovering artists before anyone else. And what I didn't realize is that most artists that find long-term success come from with either a platform or a subculture. Mm-hmm. For example, you have a platform, YouTube. That's like the modern version of, Disney Channel launching the careers of like Selena and Britney Spears.
I mean, Justin was founded on YouTube, which is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But the only other option to a platform is subculture. Mm. And what I didn't realize is that I was so immersed in like the emo pop punk subculture that the artists that I was finding really early, to me, that were like big because they were coming up within the subculture in the landscape of pop music were undiscovered. Mm-hmm. But I had my finger on that pulse. So what I didn't realize when I was 18, I met an A&R named Jeff Levin, who works at Atlantic Records still to this day.
Yep.
And I was explaining to him my process of discovering artists that I want to book for concerts. And I was on my way to go to college. Like, it was the summer before high school and college. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I can't go book. I don't know if I'm going to be able to book concerts at Indiana University. Like, I don't know where my life's going to go.
Right.
And he was like, if you just start sending me, instead of booking the bands, if you just start sending me music every day, we can discuss like putting you on salary as like an A&R scout for Atlantic Records.
That sounds a lot like the story of my A&R right now at Atlantic Records, Jordan Marsh. He was telling me
very similar. Yeah.
Very similar story.
Yeah. And I know Jordan.
Jordan's great.
Yeah, a lot of people at Atlantic kind of follow that trajectory. I almost say Atlantic's like the Harvard of the music business.
Yeah.
Because they're really good at finding executives early and giving them the resources to blossom. And I'm really blessed for like Pete Gambarg and Jeff Levin and that whole community.
It's so funny. I know all these people.
Yeah, because they were part of like me learning not just how to now discover artists, but work with songwriters and producers, mix and master a song. The thought that goes into actually making an album and developing an artist is so much more than just like, I found this guy on Hype Machine or nowadays TikTok.
Sure.
There's development that goes into it. There's thought. There's
algorithms.
Like, so much about music too. And I was telling you this on our podcast, like you need to develop a sound. There's tone is so important. The right producer is like, I always say like if an artist was like a director, it's like you need to find your cinematographer, like your producer and your screenwriters, like or your songwriters. Like you need to find the people around you that can help you create this beautiful picture. And I think that create your own world, and that comes a lot. And the A&Rs, I think their job is to help you do that. Yeah. In a lot of ways. So I fell in love with doing that from like a super young age.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So you had your first taste, you said, of virality in 2007. What made you not want to pursue it? Or like not want to like pursue being viral on social media?
So, it's so funny. I think nowadays kids who go viral are like praised. And I don't know, maybe they're bullied. But from my experience, like I think parents probably were like, why aren't you more like Brett Bossack? Like why aren't you doing charity? Why aren't you on the news? Why aren't you starting a Facebook group that goes viral? And kids were not cool about it. Like kids my age, they didn't find it cool. They weren't nice about it. Even like I remember my older sister was like, are you just doing it for the fame? And I was like, that never even had crossed my mind. And she was the first person to like bring that to my attention. Like, do you just do charity because you like the attention it brings? And I, at that point, been driven by the love of giving and reaching more people. But that was like a moment where I was like, I think I made a decision, like going viral and chasing that is like a really scary path to go down, and you can lose yourself doing it. So you have to be super, super careful. And like, that's why I came to the philosophy, like in my career, in my life, if I ever get a following or people that appreciate what I'm doing or love the legacy I've left, like that's totally fine. If people want to follow me because they like what I have to say or the way I think, that's totally fine. But I don't want people to follow me for the wrong reasons. And that's why I've always been like very
selective what you put out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You were telling me earlier, this is the first time that you've done something on social, like done something with cameras when Todd wasn't here.
Exactly. Yeah. This is my first podcast without Todd.
I know.
That's
kind of why I like it. It gives me a little bit more insight, because at the same time, if I had Todd right here, I'd feel bad if I wasn't asking him questions, and vice versa. So it's
I wasn't expecting this, but this is really cool.
It's fun.
I was so nervous at first because I'm like, what am I going to say? But this is awesome.
So typically what I do in this podcast to get people, we usually talk about pretty heavy stuff, and sometimes we don't. And in case we do, I like to have a crime that I assign to you, and by the end of it, I decide whether or not you're guilty of it, to get your mind off things and add a fun little element. Your crime is scrubbing your internet presence to evade government tracking.
Nice.
Thank you. I didn't come up with it. My producers.
That's amazing.
I know. Sometimes it really throws me off, but this one's pretty good. Yeah, so by the time we're done with this, maybe after Todd's, I'm not too sure. I'll decide whether or not you're guilty by it. So far, you're looking okay. You're looking good, man.
Thank you.
So how'd you and David meet? Or like the whole squad, essentially?
I met Natalie first.
She's very nice. I've met her.
And what's funny is Natalie had just moved here from Chicago. I think she had just gotten out of a relationship with her like long-term boyfriend. And I didn't meet her under those kind of terms at all.
Right.
Todd, if you're watching this, I promise.
He is.
I know.
He's in the other room.
I know. No, but we met at a party, and it was funny because I was born in Chicago.
Yeah.
Moved to Connecticut when I was 9, but I always felt like a Chicago kid at heart. And I was at this party that I remember it was like at a friend's house. It was like right before Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I walk into this house, and it's like everyone I followed on Instagram at this party. Like every hot girl I'd ever followed on Instagram. And I was
Rolodex.
And a lot of these people are like my friends now, like, but like Wolfie Cindy was there, and I was friends with Cindy, and she was like one of the first people I met as well in that whole scene, and like, like Stassi Baby, and like all these kids were there, and I didn't know anyone, and I remember like seeing David across the room. I had no idea who he was, and he had like this stunning model like sitting right next to him, like so interested in him, and I'm like, how is that guy pulling that girl? Like I was so confused, like the whole dynamic of what was going on. And someone connected me.
You're like, damn, LA.
And then someone who knew me there was like, you should meet Natalie. Like she doesn't know anyone else here either, and she's also from Chicago. Oh, cool. So we started talking, and she was the first friend I made in that friend group, and we became like really quick friends just because she didn't have a social media following yet. She was just David's assistant, and she wasn't she didn't have a huge presence in 2018 in his vlogs, and she was new to LA. So she was the first person I became friends with. Then I went to Saddle Ranch a week later with the same group of friends and saw Natalie and was hanging with Natalie and the whole crew. And Matt King walked up to me because I had Texas on my shirt.
Oh, cool.
And he thought it was so cool. He's like, I'm from Texas. And then I met Zane and then Todd. And then next thing I know, it was like I had been struggling a lot with the friend group I had in music. And I talk about this a lot, not actually on our podcast, but like with my friends, where it was like I started working in music when I was 15. I got hired by Atlantic when I was 18. I started my first business when I was 22. By the time I was 25, I'd quit drinking to focus on like my mental health, and I was having anxiety. And I realized like I had no friends outside of music, and all my friends were years older than me, and I had missed out on a lot of this like adolescence or childhood, or these years that I really wanted, that I wish I got back. And I was just like, I'm going to separate myself. Not just like I love my music industry friends, and I want to hold on to the ones I care about, but I don't need to chase this vanity that comes from the music business. I'm going to put myself into a position to find other people who are interesting and fun and aren't in music, but have have ambitions that they want to achieve, but aren't the same as mine. And then all of a sudden I meet the Vlog Squad, and immediately that just becomes like within months, it's like I had this incredible new friend group who like I was constantly laughing, feeling inspired, like an escape from my job in music, but a lot of times they didn't even care what I did. And that was like so crazy too. I'm like, I have this friend group and they don't give a shit what I do on the daily. Like they just want to hang out because we have a good time together. And that was like such a unique thing to find in LA.
That's great.
It's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you just don't have like, you don't like, let's just say like people are filming around you. Like you just choose to kind of like avoid, or is it something that's like now you're kind of like cool with it and you're kind of like, oh, you know what, I'll have fun, but you're just going to be yourself and not try and kind of get laughs for those
It depends who it is. If it's Todd filming, I'm way more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Todd also like is really good at like holding a camera, and it's like a dad cam, and it doesn't feel like you're about to like get
That's how I
exposed.
am.
I love that. David, he hasn't been vlogging as much, but I still kind of feel a little uncomfortable. But overall, I just like it's just not really for me.
Yeah. You kind of want to just do your shit and like, you know, reap the benefit of whatever it is, and kind of like, you know, have your friend time and your private time, and then, you know, have your work time. And
absolutely. And
it's very old fashioned, but it's very cool.
Yeah.
I haven't like, I'm starting to lean that way. Like I've been doing the vlog stuff for a pretty long time. And like for me, you know, I've had, you know, the David type of videos, and I've had like, you know, I've been mixing around and kind of trying to find authentically myself in a lot of it. Right. And I think it's been something beautifully fun, but I've also like, you know, I've tried to more appreciate my alone time or my time with my friends without the camera. And I think
great.
It's nice. And I kind of understand why you like it.
And there's no pressure.
Yeah.
I like to be the person. I like to think that the reason I'm kept around is because I can be someone that like people can authentically rely on and trust. And I think, you know, Todd wasn't initially my closest friend in the friend group, but that friendship grew over time and matured to a place where like we became really great confidants. And I think it comes down to like one main thing, and that's that like the most important personality trait for both of us in an individual is loyalty. Like through and through. And I think that's what has like, you know, 3.5 years later has caused us to kind of continue, like we can have bickers or fights, or we can be in business together and get frustrated. But over time, like our friendship just gets stronger. And I think that's what you want in someone in life.
I think it's also beautiful too, because you're not transactional. Like, and I think that's something where it's like, not saying any of the squad is, I'm saying is like in LA.
If anything, actually, my whole point of this is the squad is the opposite of transactional.
Yeah. In LA, it's very common to find transactional friendships.
Absolutely.
And I think the best part about this is the fact is it's not. And it's something you don't need to think, oh, am I doing enough? Or am I like, giving them something big to film and whatever. It's kind of like I'm around because they enjoy me having around.
Absolutely.
And that's the best part is like you're not gaining anything from it except for just friendship and loyalty and something beautiful opposed to like content houses. And, I would know I was part of one, but, even then like a filming squad and a group where it's like, it's not, you don't hang out unless you're filming. And it's like, that's something that's like very much
blew my mind when I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, I'm in a really famous friend group.
Yeah.
And it's all fake.
Yeah.
We're not friends. When the cameras go off, we see each other at parties and we don't even like acknowledge each other. It's like it's like kids who go to high school together and then see each other at a party and pretend like they don't know each other outside of class. And I was mind blown by that because all I know is what I know and what I see and through the lens that I've experienced. And that's the squad. And they're so real and tight knit. And it isn't transactional. But I will say that my expectation was that it would be in the beginning. And I remember when they would invite me around or I was like hanging around a bunch and this was becoming my friend group and they had such a magnifying glass on them and they were getting so much attention. And I was this friend that had 2,000 followers on Instagram. I questioned a lot of myself of like, why do they want me around? Like, why am I friends with them? Like, what do they want from me?
Sure.
And then over time I realized it's just like, just me to be myself. And that's all I need to do. And, again, it's weird when you're like, I'm friends with not just the vlog stuff, but like, a lot of people I'm friends with. I'm like, I'm friends with people that, people who don't live in LA would kill to be friends with. And then you question yourself of like, how did this happen? How did I get here? And I would always say like, for me, I can't answer how, but I've just like been in LA now for 9 years and never tried to lose myself. I just tried to be like, if I can be authentically myself and surround myself with people that I can laugh with and have deep conversations with, like, great people will continue to come my way and continue to foster great relationships. Like Armin, who's here with us, like he's one of our closest friends. He's another one who's in the squad who you wouldn't expect because he's a VC at a fund or whatever in finance. But
it's so cool. I don't know.
We love having him around, and he's become one of my like. I was just talking with Todd about this the other day. I'm like, if I were to get married and think about who my groomsmen would be, it would be like Todd and Armin and all these people that have kind of come in my life over the last few years that I could not have expected to kind of get to that place. So I think that's like, it's really cool how you can continue to grow and evolve in LA. And when there's this expectation that like, if you don't add value to someone, then they might not, that most things should be transactional, like you said. What do
you want to do? Like, are you happy with what you're doing now? Is there a goal? Is there something for you? Like for me, I want to do singing. Like I want to sell at arenas. It's just something I want to do. I enjoy it. I love singing and I love making music, and I think I'm particularly pretty good at it. So for that's something that my goal and my ambition is. Is there something for you, or are you already living it?
In a better place with that question than I've ever been in my entire life.
That's awesome.
So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always felt that in my heart that like I was capable of starting a business that had no ceiling. And I always say like, if something has a ceiling on it, if you can see like this ceiling is $100 million or $1 billion, or here's where the ceiling is and we can exit, or we can, if we start this business, this is the best it can do, like, then don't fucking do it. I like to do things where there's no ceiling on it, where like I go into it and I have no idea where this is going to take me, but I feel confident that it can continue to grow and grow and grow. And from being in the music business for so long, half my life, I've learned a lot. I think I have, in 15 years of experience, and a lot of that being an entrepreneur on my own, I've seen a lot of the negatives and the dark side of the business. So I'm actually building a tech company right now that I think can do a lot of positive change within the songwriter-producer community. I think on the transparency side, there's still a long way to go. So I've actually spent 6 months building a technology that can help songwriters, music catalog owners, other publishers organize all of their data, all of their catalogs, all of their royalties, and provide more transparency within an industry that is still relying on like 30, 40, 50-year-old technology.
The music industry is pretty
it's
lacking.
Yeah.
It's lacking modernization.
I spent years kind of conceptualizing a technology that I think could at least modernize the music publishing world.
Sure.
And what I learned is like, you can go around and talk for a long time about all these great ideas you have, but until you do it, you're no better than anyone else in LA who has a great idea.
Yeah.
And for me, I had this great idea and I would tell my friends about it, especially people in music, but I never acted on it because I think there was a fear inside of me that I'm like, well, I'd have to stop managing this person, or I wouldn't be able to grow this business. And I've put so much time in. But if you understand the sunken cost fallacy, sometimes you need to just, learn when something's gone in a direction where it's like, okay, I've now managed songwriters for a long time, or managed producers, or worked with artists, and I've reached certain levels of success that I'm really, really proud of. But if I really want to get to have the success that I want to have, I need to start this company. So I took a step backwards. I raised some money. I hired a handful of engineers, and I've been building this platform for now 6 months, going through that whole venture capital and raise process and having the meetings that you need to have. And
Right.
I think that I'm now on a path towards more success in a place where I'm like, I can combine so many loves, like of technology and music, but doing something for good. And I think that's really exciting for me because I'm like putting myself in a position to reach higher levels of success. So I think that's, to answer your question in one way, like that's one way where I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've always wanted to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
We all have.
do it in a way where I've made really positive change. And that's like a very
That's kind of following suit to 2007 too,
100%.
which is kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
You're kind of
And
full circle.
it came full circle, and I think I'm finally in a place where the circle's starting to come around.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And then from there, like, I've always loved, like from a young age, I always wanted to do film and like do politics and stuff like that. So I think like my goal is like if I can grow this business to a place where I think it can reach, which I think it could be a multi-billion-dollar company. And if it can one day get there and I have more flexibility in life, like I think, going into film as a film production or venturing into politics, like I've always said this too, like from a young age, like I think I was still struggling a lot with my own leadership abilities, even though I had gone through that viral moment.
Yeah.
And a teacher recommended I go to a leadership seminar. So I got a scholarship. I went to this leadership seminar for 3 days. There I kind of learned a lot of like the foundation of you don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be considered a leader. You can lead by example. And I was surrounded by other people who were leaders. And, that education for me was super integral in my career. And I'm like, I've always thought like, whether it's get through politics or other endeavors, like I'd love to reach a level of success where one day I can, again, go full circle and provide that opportunity for other kids my age who maybe have like that little itch inside of them that they want to scratch to be an entrepreneur and to be successful and to leave a legacy, but don't believe in themselves that they can do it, and they just need someone to believe in them. And I think that's how I to this day I'm always looking for someone to believe in me. I think everyone is. And
You have it all figured out.
I don't know if I do.
You sound like you do. You sound like you know what you want,
I know what I want.
which is beautiful. I mean, this again is my 10th episode I've done, and it's quite insane because it's like a lot of people,
Yeah.
you have it all. It's beautiful because it's kind of like a story arc. It's like an official like fucking story arc, and it's cool because it's something that you don't see every day, and you have a goal and you have a passion and you have a objective and something you want to get to, and it's all like fully intertwined.
Well, dude, I'm going to tell you another story real quick. I don't know if we have time.
We do.
When you meet Jeff Levin, have you met him yet?
No.
He's like one of the top, I think he's like runs the LA office for Atlantic Records. So you're definitely going to meet him. He's one of the greatest dudes. He was the person who hired me at Atlantic. He was my roommate for years. One of the best dudes. He was 21 when I got hired by Atlantic. I was 18. And he was the one who brought me in. And he was the one I met at the concert, the whole thing. On the way to the meeting with him, the first time we ever met in person, or the second time I guess we met in person, but the first time under like, am I going to hire this guy circumstances?
Yeah.
It was one of the coldest days of the year in New York City. And I was on Christmas break from college. I was walking down the street and I had failed a class in college, but I dropped it before I failed it so I could get a W, so it didn't affect my GPA. And the only other class I could pick up was a first aid responder class. This was in college. So I take that first aid responder class and you learn like how to stop someone from going into shock. You learn how to give like, whatever. You learn all the techniques. I was like, to me was a blow off class just to get the credits. I'm on my way walking to this meeting with Jeff Levin and it's negative 10 degrees. I'm walking down the street. I'm already like cutting it really close on time. And I see a woman and she's probably 80 years old. She trips on the curb and smashes her face on the ground. And she's like catty cornered to me on the streets of New York. And this is like right on like 42nd and 6th, like heart of New York City, crowded. And people are just stepping over her. And I can see her. Her teeth are knocked out. She's on the ground. She's bleeding. And I have a decision to make. I'm like, I could go help save this woman or make the Atlantic meeting on time. And I was like, fuck it. So I run across Caddy Corner. Like as soon as the light turns green, I run, or like, the walk sign turns green. I run across the street. I like pick up her teeth off the ground. I clean her up. I make sure she doesn't go into shock. I call 911. I get the ambulance. I wait there for 10 minutes, put her in, help I told her, I'm a first aid responder. I help them put her into the ambulance. I have like probably blood on me. I think I had a little blood on me. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to be late to this meeting. I walk in 20 minutes late. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I totally understand if this isn't going to work out because I'm late, but this
You explain the situation, and they're like, bullshit.
And to this day, Jeff says, like, I thought when you left that meeting, I thought he's a great guy, but I can't not hire him because he just saved an old woman's life. He's like, if that's not omen,
yeah.
He's like, if that's not an omen, like, I don't know what it is. So
that's fucking cool.
Crazy.
That's everything happens for a reason.
Everything Dude, my mom used to say that all the time. She was like, and I try to live with no regrets and move forward in life. Like everything happens for a reason, and what goes around comes around. And I've seen it time and time again. If you might not see it on a day-to-day level, karma, but over time, things do come full circle. And if you just continue to put good energy out into the universe, good things will happen to you in the end. And I really believe that.
I love it.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm going to lock you out. You're going to come in after. I'm going to bring Todd in, and then you guys are both going to come in, and I'm going to decide who's guilty and who's not.
Hell yeah. I love this.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay. You watched that go down. How was that?
No, I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No, I stepped out.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
I'm
that.
fresh.
You're not even, it's amazing. So during this, I always set a crime for people. We might talk about some heavy stuff. We might not. Just get a little bit of a fun moment. I accuse you of a crime, and by the end of it, I decide if you're guilty or not. Your crime is promising the readers of your book $1 and not paying.
All right. I have paid some.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not all.
Okay, not all.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get them later. Fuck.
I know. So does it feel weird to be being interviewed since you're used to doing it on your podcast?
To be honest, it does feel weird.
Yeah.
But I used to, like, before a podcast, I never wanted to make a podcast because I always wanted to be interviewed.
Yeah.
But now I do the podcast, so it does feel weird.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic, and I think it's also really kind of surreal because I said this on your podcast. I grew up watching you guys, and so it's kind of cool to be like sitting here asking you fucking questions because it's like I'm used to watching the vlogs and like seeing your videos and Jason's and all this stuff. And it's pretty sick.
You watched mine?
Yeah, I did.
Oh fuck, dude!
I remember it was so long ago. It was awesome. I used to do these days where me and my friends we kind of didn't have anything going on. We kind of like, a lot of us were smoking weed, being degenerates, not really doing anything with our life. And we would sit inside and, go back to back, David's vlogs and Jason's and yours and then like Scotty's. And then we'd go like, Logan. And then we blink and like, damn, we should do that. And we always talked about it. They never did it. And then eventually one day all the cards came crashing down and I was like, you know what, this is make it or break it. And I ended up doing it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, both parts
Inspiration,
Todd. Yeah. Thanks, dude. Oh, my bad.
Okay. So there's a lot of things I actually did want to talk to you about. And there's a lot of things that, I think are really cool to be able to like share. And I think that the first thing I want to talk about, you started on Vine.
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, I guess I did. So Scott was really kind of popping on Vine.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. And actually I told this story before, but he made an account and then I went away to go film a dating show. And before I left, he's like, when you get back, I'm going to be like popping on Vine. And he was. He's like, I'm going to be Vine famous. And he would go to the bar he'd work at. No one would be in there and he'd be making Vines back there. Then I'd go get off work and I'd meet him there and we'd make Vines together.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was like a good like year we were doing that.
Where were you when you were doing this?
We were in Huntington.
No, like in your life.
In my life. Like how old and like what I was. Yeah. I was going to college. I was probably like 24, 23, going to school, working at a restaurant, bartending, and making Vines.
What was like the switch for you? Like what was like, oh shit, I have something here, I'm going to go with it.
Scott wanted to move to LA and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to move to LA too. Just give it a shot. Because I wanted to act and write and stuff like that.
I could see it.
I said, this is my chance. He's going, I'm going to go with my buddy. And so for the longest time, for like 6-7 months, I was going to school in between my parents' house and the house we lived at in LA with Zane, Heath, Scott, and Elton. So they would stay there full time. I would live there probably like 2-3 days a week, drive to school, drive to my parents' house, go to work, go back to school, and then come back up for a couple of days and hang out with these guys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I was driving a lot. Like fucking, I was working.
But you always had something going on.
Yeah.
So that sounds nice.
Yeah. But it was tough because they were shooting videos together and like staying up there. But I had to like always leave them and like not be in the videos for a little bit. So, but it was cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
You met Natalie, obviously, when she came from Chicago, right?
Yes.
What? I'm so curious. How did you and Natalie happen? It's so interesting.
It's a long shot, right?
No, it's not that. It's something where it's like, I thought it when I first saw it like online and stuff, I was like, oh, it's a bit. It's not real.
Yeah.
And then like it kept going. I'm like, this is a really long bit. Damn.
That'd be sick, huh? If it was just a bit the whole time.
Well, I don't know. There was a part of me like I could never tell with, especially when I started YouTube, like, you know, it's 70% real, 30% scripted, or vice versa, or however it really was with the dynamic of like the short form content that you're constantly having to come up with. So it was like, you know, Dave was always doing crazy stuff. So for me, it was like, I think it was really interesting and unexpected, but fucking cool that you and Natalie started dating.
Thanks, dude.
I don't know. It reminds me of like, fuck, what's the show with John Stamos? Family. We grew up Full House.
Full House.
It reminded me of a Full House type of thing, or like Friends.
Yeah.
And so, how did that happen?
I met her. She was coming to help David out before she actually made the full move.
Yeah.
And I always liked that. She was like super cool. And then we became friends, like the friend group and everything. I was like always like kind of like flirting with her at times, like, you know, when I was single.
Yeah, of course.
I think one day I was like, damn, like she's amazing. Like I want to like hang out with her and like take her out and like really get to know her. And I think I started texting her like randomly.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't respond some of the times, but then I would text her again the next week. I'd wait a little bit. I'm like, oh fuck, she didn't respond. Okay.
Right.
And then she kind of started responding, and then she started being flirty.
Oh.
But hard to get flirty.
Oh, so you
know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was always like the known person to like be like pursuing her.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, she was kind of like pursuing me like a little bit.
Yeah, I love
and like
that.
she always gave me hope. And then I was on tour with Scott, and I'm on the tour bus, and I'm like still texting her, like flirting with her and stuff like that. Like, oh, when I'm back, we'll hang out. And then it popped in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna write a fucking song about her. Natalina. Because with that came, we switched phone cases, and her phone case said Natalina.
Oh, cool.
And so that's where I got the idea to write the song.
I love that.
Yeah. And then so like after like the Billboard and everything came out of like my drunk texts.
Billboard was one of my favorite bits you've ever done.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
I mean, fucking.
I love it.
The whole thing is kind of crazy because Natalina came out like a week later.
Yeah.
And everyone thought that was just like a ploy for the song, which it wasn't. It was just timing.
But it worked out perfectly.
Perfectly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When did she budge? Like when she's like, you know what? I'm into this.
I think we kissed for the first time. I think that's when she kind of budged. And that was before the Billboard incident. Yeah. So that happened. And I was like, holy shit. I was like off my rocks.
Dope.
It was sick. Like, all right. I spent the night.
We need another Billboard.
Like, yeah. Round 2.
Yeah.
And I spent the night and like we were getting up. She's like, you got to get out of here before David sees you. So I left the house early, remember? And then I didn't text her for a while, and then I would text her. She wouldn't reply. I'm like, fuck, like, what is this? Like, what's going on? Right. And then the Billboard happened, and then she like kind of owed me a date and went to a hockey game after the Billboard, like that night.
Oh, that's amazing.
Ducks Kings.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
See, I've only gone to an LA Kings, like LA Kings versus, you're fine. It was like I think it was a Canadian team that was
Montreal.
playing. I don't know.
Canadians,
I don't know hockey
There's
that well.
There's a few Canadian teams, but yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's like the Canadians, so we'll call it
Canadian
that.
something.
Yeah.
Who knows? No, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool love story.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then COVID happened, and that kind of like really like locked us in.
So how are you guys now?
We're great.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's amazing. It sounds so cliche. It's like, you know, people say you're hanging out with your best friend. I mean, you really essentially are, you know? And so obviously like I love her and like just never been like more comfortable in myself like around
How
someone,
long have you
you
guys
know?
been dating?
A little over 2 years this month.
Damn, I'm about to hit 4.
Oh my God.
I know, it's crazy.
You gonna propose?
Eventually.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I think that the stigma of me being 21 is kind of something that's like, I didn't have a childhood. I kind of lucked out and kind of got the shit end of the stick every time. You know, my dad died when I was young. My mom passed away like last year. So it's kind of like,
Sorry, dude.
It happens.
I'm sure you did a lot.
I'm living life the way, like, you know, I want to get married and then have kids. And I want to have the marriage and the kids follow suit.
Gotcha.
And it's something where, you know, for me, I can't have a kid until I'm not a kid anymore, or at least somewhat able to take care of.
You never know. That might never happen.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen. I'm
saying for me at least.
Oh, when are you?
No, I'm talking about like not being a kid and then having a kid.
No, I'm asking when you get married.
I honestly, I'd rather have a kid before I get married.
I love that.
So
Why?
I don't know. I think marriage is great. You know, the party's great, and
Sure.
I just think there's a lot of pressure with marriage, and like there's this like obviously like, there's this stigma, and like there's this like, you know, if you're unhappy, then people think divorce and stuff, yada yada. I feel like if it's more of like a flowing situation, ebb and flow.
Yeah.
You have a kid, you know, you live together obviously, and you're together, you're raising this kid. I feel like it can kind of come out a lot smoother. I mean, I come from a divorced family, and so it's just like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's nothing crazy. There's a lot of divorced kids out there.
For sure. Yeah, but it's also something like beautiful where it's like when I was growing up and I was watching content, I felt like I was not able to, be able to achieve the things that you guys were achieving at the time. I always felt like, I had the shit on the stick and it's like, they don't have this happening. So to hear that you had divorced parents and that was something, it's, a lot of people going through that right now feel like they, can't do maybe something that you're doing or what, David's doing or what I'm doing and or what even like anyone's doing because they feel like they have a terrible card.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's like, this is another cliche thing, but like, I think mindset plays like a huge factor.
Sure.
Like even for myself, when I've noticed I've had like a terrible mindset about something and I just feel like, it defeats my energy, first of all, which that's the worst. And then bad mindset, the outcome of whatever you're doing, say like you have a project, it's not going to usually turn out that well, or say you have like a bad mindset, you can't even get out of bed. And then that if you can't get out of bed, you can't do what you want to do. Like if a kid wants to like emulate you, they got to get out of bed and fucking do the work, you know, and have like that positive mindset. And for example, I've been watching Magic Johnson's documentary on Apple.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen it.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so 2 things, his smile and his 3 things, his smile and his mindset throughout the doc. And there's also an episodic show on HBO Max, whatever, that they're portraying Magic. And he's just like this happy-go-lucky guy, right?
Oh, cool.
And he's like doing the work and getting shit done. And then obviously he has the AIDS virus in 91. And instead of kind of like burying his head in his arms and kind of giving up, not playing basketball anymore, he becomes like an advocate for like Black communities with AIDS and like AIDS overall.
That's beautiful.
And then on top of that, he plays in the 92 Olympic like dream team. And he comes back and plays basketball and wins a gold medal. And so like no matter what happened to him, like all this adversity, obviously had a lot of talent, he kept this big smile that people remember. And he always had like a positive mindset of things and like this like beautiful outlook on life and how to carry on, So like I kind of like, granted, I'll have like, a bad mindset every once in a while, but I really try to like show gratitude and be thankful and like, just keep on keeping on.
That's beautiful.
I've
noticed like a lot of times, like I'll have a lot of things go through my mind. And I think this is why my mom passed away. I was like, for 3 days straight, I was just like, crying uncontrollably everywhere around the house. And it was just something for me is like, I think just working on my mind off of it and like having like realizing that like, shit like this happens, sadly. Like this is shit that happened in my life, but I would not be where I am if it didn't. And like that was something that like I had to convince myself and understand for myself. And when I finally understood that, I realized that, even the things terrible in my life that happened, and I've had a few, it's something that, I don't know what it's setting me up for. Yeah. I don't know what it's doing good for me in the end. And there's 2 paths you can take. You can sit down there and mope and let it control your life, or realize, you got to keep going and see what's in store.
Right?
Who fucking knows?
It molds you. It's on you how it molds you.
Yeah.
Dude, there's always this story in the back of my head. I don't know if it's real or if it's a myth, but there is this girl she gets broken up with, right?
Right.
She's so depressed and she can't get out of bed. She's just crying, misses her boyfriend. She's staying in bed, not getting out for about like 2-3 months. And when she finally tried to get out, she was stuck to her bed. She became one with her bed.
Oh, cool.
No.
Not cool.
Not cool.
Oh, sorry.
No. She should have gotten out of bed.
Oh, like
you know what I'm saying?
Like physically
stuck to her bed.
Okay, not cool.
Not cool.
That sucks.
So like I always think about that. I'm like, get up, you bitch. Do not mope anymore. You have your time. You can cry, whatever, but keep on fucking going.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm picturing the fucking mold of like,
yeah, dude.
That's nuts. I mean, have you had that like a point in your life where you're kind of just like, fuck, I just don't. Like, have you had something bad happen to you where that happens?
Yeah, I mean, more so when I first moved to LA, I was living with all the guys. I mean, I still live with some guys here.
Who do you live with?
Zane and Matt.
Oh, you live with Zane and Matt?
Yeah. Fucking best roommates.
I always see you guys around.
Bro, it's so fun. Like, we always have, like, obviously we have a group chat, like roommate group chat, and like, just like all these inside jokes with Zane and Matt, and like, just like these like stupid idiosyncrasies that we attempt. And between us, Matt will always like randomly text me. He's like, hey, God, did you come today?
Oh, wow.
Big load?
Yeah.
Right on you, sir.
Totally between us.
Fucking totally between us.
No one's going to hear this.
Yeah.
Shit.
Black magic, huh?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I love it. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Like shows blemishes and everything, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, but yeah, it's I don't know. I kind of like living with people.
I do too.
I want to live alone, but at other points, I'm like, it would be so boring.
I mean, you get to your 21. I just turned 31, and I talked to Zane about it. And he's like, I don't ever want, like not want to live with you guys.
Yeah, I have my friend Michael's like he wants to be Jesse from Joey from Full House.
Yeah. Or Joey from Friends on top of the garage. Remember?
Oh, sure.
They don't show it, but
That's where he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chandler and Monica's garage.
Do you ever think you're gonna move in with Natalie?
Yeah.
When?
I do. I don't know. She has a lot of clothes.
Oh.
And she actually has her own personal closet in her backyard, it's like a separate house. And she has her closet in her room.
Does she live alone?
She lives with her Reggie, her roommate.
Oh,
and her
cool.
mom's staying with her right now too.
I love that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have enough room for my shit. But I'm over there all the time. She has the best bed.
Really?
Like a nice king size bed. You know, like she falls asleep before me all the time. So I'm just fucking kicking it, watching TV.
Yeah.
And getting fucking, I love good TV series.
I binge.
Me too.
But I feel like that's a problem though, because like I'm always trying to work and then I get so caught up in, I'm watching 911 right now.
Okay.
And I'm obsessed with it. But it's just like, I just love crime shows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, for me, I always have to have like a solid work day before I can like sit down and like watch my episode, like my television.
Yeah, or else you
I
just feel
sound like an old
gross.
lady.
No,
I'll
but
watch my
I
TV.
understand it too. So you've been doing social media for quite some time now. Do you miss old social media or do you like where it's gone?
I miss the old social media.
Yeah?
I feel like
What's the difference?
I mean, I think it's just very saturated with. I think it's great with a bunch of people. It's saturated. It's just different. It's not as like adventurous or like the Wild West. Like every other person you meet, this is kind of a selfish thing, but every other person you meet is like an influencer and like doing shit like that, and which is fine. But also too, it's
They all got egos now.
everyone's got an ego. Everyone's fucking woke. It's still great though. It's a blessing. I mean, this life is. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an actor and a writer and like traditional and legit make it like that way. Obviously, it didn't happen. Not happening. So social media has given me an opportunity to like write my own sketches and shorts and like do shit like that. So it's a fucking huge blessing and make music too. I love making music, but if I wasn't
amazing.
here doing this, being interviewed by you, like my music would go nowhere.
I wouldn't say me, but yeah, I understand. I think I'm a small part of that. Maybe like 0.002%.
You know, 6 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, 6 inches is above average. I like that. 4 even.
4. Yeah. Whatever. Who's counting?
I like to talk about like really sad shit.
Yeah.
I think that's something like with my music and how I carry it, and my vlogs are super happy and amazing things. Do you have an outlet for anything? Like, I don't know if you've gone through anything like terrible or like something bad's happened to you, but is there something that bad's happened to you, and how do you kind of like cope with it? Is there like a way you do it that isn't social media driven? Like, I think that's something interesting.
Yeah, for me, it's always been my writing.
Yeah.
Like being able to write. So like just like dealing with like your everyday shit, you kind of, if you're anxious, depressed, you're not really depressed, but you think you're depressed, kind of like, like 2015, 2016 were huge years for me. I really wrote a lot and like journaled a lot, and that's where like my book development kind of came from. Yeah. And also like I kind of took on this like sad role for like probably like 3 weeks where I'm like, oh, I should like be sad and like feel something if I really want to write something good, kind of like the tortured artist, whatever. Right. And then finally, and like people like, I would write stories and post them online. People would like relate to them and like them. I'm like, oh, I should keep doing this. But then I hit a wall. I'm like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to keep writing, but I want to feel happy and like feel something else and like be like the guy you want to be around, not be like this fucking mope that like nobody wants to be around, Mm-hmm. And so finally I decided that I'm gonna be happy, be lighthearted, try to tell as many jokes as I can and without stressing, and write some deep shit still, know, and like write about my life and like my struggles or make up some struggles, because like everything I write, I call it fiction, but it's kind of like an outline of my life in a sense, just creating these characters. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely like, gone through like the struggles of like, not being able to make rent, crying to my mom, I'm a failure here in Los Angeles, I'm moving back. And then luckily Scott, paid a couple months of my rent and I paid him back. And after him, it was like the fucking coolest thing. And I was able to keep writing and filming videos with my friends. And so I guess, that's the gist of it, where I was just trying to write and like feel something really. But then I realized I don't have to feel that way to write something good. Yeah. So. Yeah,
that was just so much like with me, Calvin. Me and Cover were homeless together, and we couldn't afford anything, and we were sleeping in cars. And Calvin let me borrow $600, and I told him I'd pay him back, and I ended up paying him back, and then eventually over time he moved in with me, and I got a townhouse, and like it was 3 stories, and like moved all my friends in who helped me while I was homeless, and it was a fun time.
That's crazy.
It's cool, dude. I like it a lot.
It's awesome. Yeah. All boats rise with the tide.
And then we just started filming and having times, and that kind of jump started that. How did you kind of get mixed up in like Vlog Squad and all those cool things?
So Scott, Zane, Heath.
Because you guys are all still really close. Like,
Yeah.
there wasn't really any falling out.
No falling out with us. We're all, I mean, genuinely best friends. I moved here with Scott, met Zane and Heath, moved in with them, met David through Zane and Heath from like Vine. And then we just started filming like, we didn't even call them vlogs. I mean, I don't think I did. Like David was just like filming us like do stupid shit and like fun shit. And then, you know, Jason joined, Natalie moved, and like we're all like, I talked to a few people from home, but these guys are my family. These guys and girls, you know, like they're my best friends. And then like my ride or die. And like I just said previously, like I see it like all boats rise with the tide. We try to help each other out, and off camera, we're there for each other, you know, and like always doing shit together, whether traveling or just watching a movie. And so I'm very, very, very blessed. And like a situation like yourself with your friends, like your close friends from Carlsbad, right?
Yeah. Damn, you know your shit.
Yeah, dude. Like it's nice to have like people that they always ask me, they're like, oh, LA, like, is everyone fake? Like, I don't know if I want to move there. How do you make friends? And I don't know what to tell them. I've made really good friends, such as Brett, from living here. But I came here with a best friend and met other really close friends before. Like we became like tossed into like some like sort of scene.
When we came here, we didn't have any intention of starting a content house. I was already living with my friends, and Thomas was like, oh, you know, we should like start a big thing. Like, you seem stressed. I was like, I am stressed. I'm 19 at the time. I'm 18, 19. And I'm like, I pay the rent here, and I'm doing all these things, and it's really stressful because all they are doing is partying. And it's like, I'm just trying to like film and live my life and trying to not get in trouble as much as possible and trying to like do something. And he's like, oh, let's do this. And so we all just moved in LA, and he's like, oh, we're doing a photo shoot. We need a name. I just came up with the name, and we kind of just went with it. And all of a sudden, the next day we have 1 million followers. And I was like, fuck.
It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy, but it's also very cool. It's something where it's like, you know, through the last 3 or 4 years, I've stuck with them. We fight, we bicker, we fucking have fun. We grab each other's asses. It's great.
Dicks and asses.
All the time.
It's a great story. You guys stay together forever.
Yeah, no,
like, you know?
I personally think so. I don't think we're always going to live together, but I think.
Same. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Me, Natalie, and Zane.
Are you from Huntington?
I'm from Huntington, yeah.
How is that?
I didn't think I would ever leave Huntington.
Really?
To be honest with you. And then had this chance to come up here, and I will never live in Huntington ever again.
Yeah.
It's too slow. Like I see people, everyone's just, you know, doing the thing. Everyone's great.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just like the speed's a lot different than up here. And then obviously it's like I go there, I see my family, and I usually don't go out when I'm there. I just, you know, hang out with my family. And then when I'm up here, I have my friends up here. So there's like really no need besides to see my family.
Yeah.
You know?
And how was family growing up?
Family was great.
Were they always supportive of what you wanted to do?
Always supportive. Like my parents were so supportive.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah. And even like divorce, I'm like, didn't really bother me. They're divorced. But I mean, I took it as.
Did you do like separate would you go to like for Christmas and stuff like that?
Yeah. So like I would go to my one grandma's for Christmas Eve and the other one for Christmas. But I took it as like an advantage to like get away with more things.
Oh, cool.
But then eventually, this is crazy. So my sister is 10 years younger than me. She's your age.
Oh, cool.
About to turn 21. And so she started playing competitive soccer like before high school.
Yeah.
Like right before high school. So when that happened, my dad would spend the night on our couch, take her to school, and then like take her to soccer and then go back to work and like pick her up after or whatever.
Yeah.
Then eventually he moved into our downstairs bedroom. And so my parents, under the same roof, but not together.
Still?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's different.
Weird situation.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. Wait, you mentioned you went to your grandma's house?
Yeah, for Christmas. Like I was saying, like separate Christmases. Like obviously, you know, Christmas. Like
that sounds nice.
yeah, I mean, my grandparents are great. And big family,
close relationship.
yeah,
with them.
super close. Yeah,
That's beautiful. So even though your parents were divorced, and you still felt like they were together in a way that was helping you.
yeah,
And it's nice. And you had your grandparents, which is even more beautiful.
totally. Yeah, it wasn't like they couldn't see each other.
My parents were going to get a divorce before my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And then once he was diagnosed with cancer, they realized that it might have been better to stay together, which ended up just kind of fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Which they were just constantly fighting, and it made it worse that my dad was dying. So it was like just a
bummer, yeah.
fuck situation. So I feel like I understand both sides, because it's like they didn't want to be together.
Yeah.
And yet I still lost one. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I relate to a lot of like people's stories and like that. Which is,
Did you have siblings?
I have three. Older brother's a Marine, so he's
cool.
doing all that crazy shit. Older sister is 27, and she does like all the fucking marketing for Hyundai. And I have a little sister at UW in Washington.
All right on.
Yeah, my parents
Go
are busy.
Huskies?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think that's something like that. Yeah. Nice.
What's the goal? Like for you? You said you acting, and then you still like, you know, writing and all these, and you've done music, and you've done it all, which is honestly pretty fucking dope. You're taking advantage of the situation you have and figuring out what you like and love. Based on that, what is kind of like, what's the goal?
I've been asking that like myself that for like the past 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
On and off. Like, what's the goal? What's the end goal? What's the 5-year plan? The 10-year plan?
Fuck all the plans. Fuck the 5-year, fuck the 10-year.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself being happy doing?
Creating a project such as having a hand in writing a screenplay, acting in it, and directing it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And
Kind of like Adam Sandler type of vibe.
Exactly.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes, like something like that. And that's what I've been doing with my short films, but obviously they're not, blockbusters. But the goal is for like that movie to be somewhat something, anytime, anywhere. I'm just kidding. To be, I was trying to that was a movie.
No,
the goal is for those sketches to turn into a feature film that people watch in theaters.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I have these fucking ideas where I called Scott today. I'm like, Scott, we need an artist project. We need 4 songs. We're we're not putting our names on this thing. We're making up a name and we're fucking putting this out.
That's cool.
We're making fucking 4 bangers.
I love that.
So like, and then I fucking I love writing short stories. So it's like kind of like they all coincide.
You don't need to pick one.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't need to be. And I asked this question just to get an idea of where people's heads are at. Because everyone has like, I want to be an actor. I want to do this. There's nothing. I'm doing a podcast. I have my music, and I'm also like,
filming videos.
My filmer Ryan's writing screenplays, and it's like I want to do something with him on that. So it's like it's very, very wide band. It's like eventually when I get older, and who knows, maybe I'll never even decide, but that's okay.
Like I don't want to be older and be like, oh fuck, I should have done this music, but I'm too old to do music now. Like I want to like.
You're never too old to do music.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can always do country,
No, I don't know. It's just a stupid stigma in the music industry. Like we said, I was talking with Brett. It's just fucking outdated.
It is.
But that being said, Scott's still doing music too. That's beautiful.
Yeah. He just released an album.
I love it.
Right? So yeah, like I want to like do music with him. I want to make fucking films with him. I want to do everything with Scott and my friends and like.
I remember before I met you guys, Scott like put on his story. He's like, buy my new song and send me a photo. I bought it and sent him a photo. And he left me on scene.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's funny.
I love it.
You gotta have him on here and just that's the first thing you open up with.
I know. I'm a little reluctant just because with everyone, just because I don't know, with having that stigma of the whole David thing that, if you don't know, you live under a rock, you just look at my name on Google. But it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a little weird. And when I first met you guys, I was really scared because there's something where I see you guys all the time and we talk and we're all cordial. And it's very much like, we stand up and say, hey, how are you? But I think over time, and the more I find myself and the more I'm kind of like established in the scene, I think the more it'll kind of carry through. I
look at it like things like that is, in your mind, it's going to be like this, like, like this waning thing that you think about because people have mentioned it. But I see like the human mind, like people think about something for like 5, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, and then they don't give a shit. Like the first time I met you, I didn't think about that at all. Yeah. Obviously a couple jokes maybe, but like that's like not how I see you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like if I like fucking fall on my face right now, it'd be pretty embarrassing, but like hopefully in 5 minutes you're going to forget about it.
Hey, I'd pick you up.
Yeah. You pick me up, pat me up, or jerk me off. Just kidding.
Yeah.
This goddamn Red Bull, man.
Bro, how long have you been in LA?
5 years.
How was dating in LA? Obviously before Natalie.
Before Natalie?
Obviously.
It's great.
Is it like, it weird? Or, you look like fucking Abercrombie and Fitch shat you out. But like, what is like
the...
But how was it? How's the dating scene?
Before Nat, I was just, dating, just cruising around. I didn't like really try to get like, tied down, ball and chain. But 100%. Everyone that I met was cool.
Were you actually dating Krennikov?
Yeah.
How was that?
Give
me the deets. I'm just kidding.
Buy her OnlyFans. I'm just kidding.
The fuck?
Did you want the deets? That's what I'm saying.
No, I get it.
No, Kren is great.
Because it was a very public relationship.
Yeah, very public.
And then just ended like, I don't know why
it kind of like ended, it seems like maybe abruptly, but it was kind of like this on and off thing kind of thing. It was kind of like dying a little bit.
Sure.
And, I didn't treat her like in the beginning, which I regret just because, I was an idiot and I didn't treat her like the best in the beginning. Yeah. And that kind of like created like a rocky start. And like where she couldn't trust me. And so that her not trusting me led to a lot of like stupid fights. Yeah. And like me not being able to like do like whatever, like certain things. And then I felt restricted and then she thought I was like fucking, rebelling because she couldn't trust me. But like, so like that kind of like, it was great. She's a great person. Yeah. Like we're still friends to this day.
I love that. Yeah. I see her everywhere. I fucking see her everywhere in her fucking Ferrari. At Home Depot, and then the next day I'm like, I saw her up the street here the other day.
She has like 5 Ferraris, right?
She's got a Ferrari, because I was looking at her Ferrari was so sick. I'm like, that's so fucking cool. And then it was Corinne. I was like, oh, interesting. I'm like, that's a cool car. Then I go to Home Depot, and then I'm just checking out, and I walk past, and I just hear her asking about screws. And I'm like, how didn't I just see you yesterday? But it's funny. She's like one of the one of the people in LA I've never talked to, I've never met, and I just randomly fucking see her everywhere. How did she take you and Natalie?
I haven't like really talk to her about it, but she didn't seem to like mind that much because we had been
you guys
we'd
been broken up for
a
some
while.
time.
Yeah. And I don't think she cared. And we're all like we all hang out and like every once in a while and like not a big deal.
Well, all right. On that note, then I'm gonna bring in Brett, and we're gonna get to the bottom of his fucking verdicts here. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, bring Brett in.
Brett.
Oh, come on in, buddy.
Oh yeah, Brett. Oh my God.
We got Todd's ad libs.
That guy's crazy.
Dude, which one? The cop guy?
Yeah.
You see his thighs?
Dude,
Fucking huge.
Calvin is fucking. He played baseball. He grew up playing baseball. Look at this man.
Jesus, so he's a pretty good catcher?
He should start an OnlyFans. Is why catch them between his cheeks.
Maybe you should set him up with Harry. Get
Honestly.
some good advice.
Oh my God,
Honestly.
yeah.
You guys see Harry's sex tape?
Not yet.
We'll get into it another day.
Should we do this?
At this current moment, after reviewing both of your tapes, I found you both not guilty.
Oh, wait, is that good?
I think that's good.
I feel like we're not kind of badass.
Well, because you're making payments, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it's okay. You've paid some people. I'm gonna let you off on the hook on this, just because if you didn't pay anyone, obviously
That'd be
you go-
fucked, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe next time. Don't tell me what you paid them. And you, on the other hand, I genuinely just don't think you want to be known. I think you probably killed some people or something. I tried to look this man up on the internet. There's nothing.
He scrubbed himself.
I know.
I know.
And at this current moment,
Yeah.
would you guys like to promote anything on that camera right there?
Yeah.
Good Boys Podcast.
Good Boys Podcast. Check it out. Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your local podcast.
I was on the podcast. Go check it out.
Yes, check that episode out. Also, we have some new music coming out. Or I do, and Brett helps me put it together.
It's amazing.
Let's fucking go.
Go
Let's
listen
fucking
to
go.
it. Go listen to both. It's all amazing. And at this current moment, you guys are officially locked out.